Hello, my name is Bethany Eveleth, and I work with Summit Bank, and I'm going to be taking you through Summit Bank's PPP loan forgiveness calculator today. So as you can see, I have the calculator pulled up on my screen, and this very first page is the page that you'll see first thing when you open this. It has general information such as your company name, the PPP loan amount and dispersal period, as well as non-payroll costs incurred, etc. Then the next couple of tabs are all about your employees. So things like how much they were paid, how many hours they worked, how that changed or didn't change during the covered period. All of that's housed on these two worksheets here. Then we have another tab for all of your owner employees, self-employed individuals, or general partners. And then the next three tabs are all tabs where calculations happen that is based all on the information you put in earlier in the spreadsheet. So they're all grayed out. You don't have to worry about doing any of the math. The spreadsheet does it for you, so long as the information you put in is accurate and complete. Ultimately, you'll see here on the very last calculation tab that in the end, you'll come up with an estimated forgiveness amount. We've also included a glossary that you can use to refer to as you move through the worksheet and see various terms throughout the sheet itself. We've created a PowerPoint presentation to kind of break this down, slow it down a little bit, and take you through a fictional scenario of a company applying for forgiveness. So let's start by talking a little bit more in depth about all of the things you'll need before you go to fill out the worksheet. So again, you'll need your PPP loan amount and dispersal date, as well as all of the payments made to employee health insurance, employee retirement plans, payments made to state and local taxes assessed on employee compensation, anything paid to owner employees, self-employed individuals, and general partners, payments on business mortgage interest, business rent or lease, as well as business utility during the covered period. Once you have all of that information put in, you'll move on and you'll start putting together the information for all of the employees who worked for you under the covered period. So you'll need all of your employees' names and the last four of their social security numbers. And then you'll also need to know how much they were compensated and how many hours they worked. There are a few different periods that the SBA and the PPP forgiveness package look at, so make sure you know those and you have those payroll reports ahead of time. This PowerPoint is online, so you can go back and refer to it as you start gathering all of the information. But essentially, you'll want all of the payments and hours worked for all of your employees during the covered period, during your reference period, and during a couple of other periods that we have to look at. You'll also want to note any employees who had pay cuts or wage cuts during the covered period. Now, on our worksheet, we have it set up as Sheet 2, Worksheet Table 1, and Sheet 3, Worksheet Table 2, which require all of the same information. The only difference is for Sheet 3, Worksheet Table 2, this is for your employees who made more than $100,000 on an annualized basis in 2019. So let's look at our company, ABC LLC. We have 4 employees, 2 are salaried, 2 are hourly, 3 are full-time. You can see we received a PPP loan of $51,600. We had to reduce hours. We also had to reduce salaries. So you can see for Alice, who made $120,000 annually before the covered period, she was reduced to $80,000, and Brad, who made $95,000 before the covered period, was reduced to $30,000. But if you keep reading and you see at the bottom, we were able to restore our employees' wages by May 4th. So we've got all of this information, we've got our situation straight, we've gathered all of our payments to our lease and our utilities, all of that. So we're going to start moving through our forgiveness package. This is our payroll report where we've outlined our employees' hours and their payments for those specific periods that the PPP forgiveness package requires you to look at. And then we start putting it into the actual worksheet that Summit Bank designed. So ABC LLC is our name. We got a loan for $51,600. We're using the standard payroll period. And again, we do have a glossary in that worksheet so you can look and decide which periods apply to your business and work best for you. We're also doing the standard calculation for the full-time equivalency. You can see our loan dispersal was April 13th of 2020, and our first pay period in the covered period began on April 17th. You can see here we paid $1,200 in employee health insurance, $1,000 to employee retirement, $1,000 in taxes. We didn't have any business mortgage interest, but we did pay $10,000 in a lease and $2,000 in utilities. So we've got all of our elections filled in, and then we start working towards putting in all of our employees' information. So you see here, this is worksheet table 1. So all of our employees who make less than $100,000 are on this worksheet. We have Brad, Carson, and Diane. We've got their gross salaries, the average number of hours worked for the various reference periods. And then this last column says, was the average annual salary or hourly wage during the covered period or the alternative covered period at least 75% of the employee's average annual salary or wage between January 1st, 2020 and March 31st, 2020. For Brad, that answer is no. If you remember, we had to reduce his salary pretty significantly during the covered period. So we've selected no for Brad, but yes for the other 2 employees. So for Carson and Diane, we're done, but there's more information that we'll need to collect on Brad. So you can see here, we've selected no, and so more cells have become available for us to fill out. So we put in information for 1A and 1B, and again, we're met with more cells to fill out about Brad. And this is because we reduced his salary more than 25%. So we get all of that put in, and then we move on to worksheet table 2, where we put in Alice. Remember, she was compensated $120,000 prior to the covered period. So we put in what we compensated her during the covered period, which is $16,813. If you move to the last column on the sheet, cash compensation, you see that it is capped at $15,385. And that's because the PPP specifically caps its amounts at $100,000 or $15,385 for the 8-week covered period. And I just want to say that anything that you see that's gray on this worksheet is not required for you to fill out. Again, when you have employees who had their wages reduced, you may end up having to fill out a few more cells than when you initially open it. But anything that's gray is auto-calculating all of the information for your forgiveness amount. So all of these gray columns can be really, really overwhelming, but they're not for you to fill out. So we just wanted to make sure that that was clear, that you don't necessarily need every single little piece of information on these little gray boxes. I also just want to say one more time that in worksheet table 2, in the cash compensation part, it will always be capped at $15,385, regardless of what you compensated those employees who make more than $100,000 annually during the covered period. So then we move on to sheet 4, owners and self-employed individuals. We don't have any at ABC LLC, so we leave that blank. But if your company has owner employees or anything like that, you would put all of their information here in sheet 4. Then all of that information has been put in and is now calculated for the PPP Schedule A worksheet on our worksheet. So all of this has been auto-calculated. I see here how much I compensated my employees, how many average full-time employees I have, any reduction in salaries, and then again, this is a continuation of the PPP Schedule A worksheet. So all of these calculations have been made for me based on the information I put in. And ultimately, the form comes up with a forgiveness amount of $49,950, meaning that ABC LLC is required to pay back $1,650. And this is due to the reduction in Brad's salary. So hopefully that slows things down a little bit, takes you through the worksheet and points out some of those easy to miss places. If you have any additional questions, we have an FAQ on our website. This PowerPoint is available on the website. And as always, please contact your banker. Thank you so much and have a great day.